Dayna Martin is an author and peaceful parenting advocate, spreading the message of freedom and children's rights. Author of the books Radical Unschooling, A Revolution Has Begun, and Sexy Birth. She's been featured on the Dr. Phil Show, Nightline, 60 Minutes, The Jeff Probst Show, and most recently, ABC's hit show, Wife Swap. Her articles, videos, and TV appearances have helped thousands of families on their path to live with more freedom, peace, and joy. We hear words like rebellion and chalk it up to normalcy. But what if there was nothing to rebel against? What if we lived with the same respect for our children that we demand they have for us? What if we could recognize that punishments model injustice, and that through using power to control another person, we are teaching them to do the same? It is through loving, kindness, and understanding that children learn love and peace, and in turn will reflect this back on the world. Respecting children's rights and freedoms is a revolutionary approach to parenting and education. This is a parenting philosophy on the leading edge of new thought, yet it is rooted in instinctual wisdom. Our culture needs to realize that living with respect and freedom with our children is the most responsible way to create a peaceful world.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Try This at Home. This is Dayna Martin. I'm glad to have you all here tonight. We have a very, very special show lined up for you tonight. We have a lot of exciting things happening. We have my first guest that I'm interviewing. We have Amy Lee, 33, who will be calling in for an interview soon. And those of you that don't know who she is, well, you will soon learn. She's a YouTube celebrity. And she does Minecraft videos, and we're going to talk about what that is. I think if you're an unschooling parent tuned in, or you're a parent in general, if you have young children, you know what Minecraft is. So we are going to talk about the phenomenon of Minecraft, and I look forward to getting to that. And you can actually call in. If you're listening, you can call in and ask Amy questions. We'd love to hear from you, so I'll give that number out in just a few minutes. It's been quite a week here in the Martin family. We've had a lot going on. Actually, right now, I have a friend with me. My friend from New York is here, my friend Amber.
Hello!
Amber drove out with her family to spend 3 or 4 days with us. We are taking our daughters tomorrow to Massachusetts to see the band Little Mix. I don't know if you've heard of them. I hadn't heard of them before. My daughter was really into the band One Direction. And in fact, that's how Amber and I, well, we've connected actually a few ways, but I think our daughters really connected and became really good friends with our mutual love of the band One Direction. So Little Mix is kind of a band who a lot of fans that like One Direction like Little Mix. So they're coming, and one thing I wanted to share is about facilitation. I've talked a lot about how unschooled kids learn. And Amber's an unschooling mom also, and she has 2 children. How old are they now? 16?
16 and 13.
And Amber has an awesomely unique perspective. We met hold on. Hold on one sec. Can you try to figure that out? I have Amy Lee calling in now, and I'm just trying to figure out the tech stuff behind this. But Amber and I met at a talk that I did in New York, and we hit it off instantly. And she came with us to Puerto Rico, her and her family. I also spoke in Puerto Rico. It was a great experience, and her family came. Hold on one sec. Let me just answer. Just answer. Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. We lost the call, tech issues, but we are back. This is Dayna Martin with Try This at Home. I am back with my friend Amber. I was just talking to you guys all about how we met. We met at a workshop that I taught in New York about unschooling. And then later we got together again when I spoke in Puerto Rico. Her family came down. It was an awesome experience. I loved seeing her family in the audience, and we decided that I would decide to ask if her kids wanted to speak because her children are 14 and 16, so they're older. And they've been to school before, haven't they, early on?
Tristan did. Tristan was actually in school up until he was 8 years old, off and on. And then, but from 8 until now 16, he has not been to school. And Olivia had a short stint in kindergarten, but that was it.
Yeah, it was really awesome to hear their experience and their perspective on the difference between, homeschooling, unschooling, and being in traditional school. So if you have any questions for Amber tonight, too, about that, call in, please. We're just hanging out talking here. We want this to be a casual discussion. And we are just so excited to be together here. Sorry if I seem a little flustered, man. All this tech stuff. If anyone out there listening wants to be my tech support person during my radio show, I would love it. I mean, I'm learning as I go here, but I really love to focus on the intent and why I'm doing this. And I think sometimes the tech side can be so difficult and challenging to work through, but I'll get it down. Thanks for everybody for bearing with me through it all. So I have a guest tonight, and her name is Amy Lee 33, as I already said. She is a YouTube celebrity. She and I connected quite a while ago, well, a couple weeks ago, but it seems like quite a while ago. And then before that, she had sent me a message a little bit further, longer than that ago, but I had a really hard time getting back to her. I get so many messages, and once we started corresponding, though, there was something really special about her. I can't explain it. I just felt this total connection. I didn't even know who she was. We wrote back and forth, and then I asked what she did for a living, and she said that she does videos for videos for a online game. And I asked which one, and when she said Minecraft, I was so excited because that's one game I do know a lot about because Devin has loved Minecraft for years. And Orion is really into Minecraft. Actually, all four of my kids are into the game of Minecraft. And Devin loved it so much a few years ago when it first came out that we took him out to meet the creator of the game, Notch, in Las Vegas at the first Minecon. That was an awesome experience. And so I think working with families, one of the main issues that comes up for people, especially people walking like a more naturally minded path, is they have an issue with screen time. They feel like video games are damaging somehow because they were fed such propaganda about them. And as I said last week, I mean, the school shootings that happened, a lot of them were blamed on violent video games. I don't believe at all that it's the violent video game's fault. I believe it's parenting, and I'm sure it was a combination of a number of things, but I hate how gaming got the bad rap in those tragic situations. I did a little research, as I always do before shows, and I wanted to share with you some benefits of playing video games because, I mean, you guys, you know the negatives, I'm sure, what you think the negatives are. I'm sure you've read or heard plenty of propaganda against violent video games. People even call it, when kids are watching TV or playing games, the term screen time. And that term's always rubbed me the wrong way. It feels really derogatory to me. It just feels disrespectful to call it something screen time. I mean, can you imagine, like, if a child was reading books, calling it, like, paper time? It's just, we live in such, like, a culture that holds books at, like, this higher form of learning when, in fact, there's much better forms of learning. You know what I mean? All over the technical world, from the internet to television, which, oh my gosh, people probably feel the same thing about television as they do video games, but we can go more into that. I want to read something to you guys. I looked up, and I liked this. Amber helped me kind of nail down which to share about this article because it's really long, so I'm just going to read a little blip of it. It's The Benefits of Playing Video Games by Isabella Granick and Adam Lobel. It's a Rutger article, and what we carved out here to share was: a small but significant body of research has begun to emerge, mostly in the last 5 years, documenting the benefits of video games. We propose that, taken together, these findings suggest that video games provide youth with an immersive and compelling social, cognitive, and emotional experience. Further, these experiences have the potential to enhance mental health and well-being in children and adolescents. What was that last bit? I'm going to have Amber read the bit that she also.
Just to clarify that basically if you were to take this article and summarize it and bring it all down, that research suggests that the benefits are in 4 main domains. Cognitive, which for example that would be their fixed attention. Motivational, their resilience in the face of failure. Emotional, which would be them learning to manage their moods based on what, they're experiencing during the play. And then also social or pro-social benefits.
Yeah, I mean, I think we hear all the scare tactics and then about people, the promotion of controlling children is something that I try to move away from my own work. Like, I have no desire to promote any kind of control with my children's choices. I was just reading in the chat room. It's fascinating, people's beliefs, but I was reading, which one was it? Ghost of Jimmy. He said video games desensitize. What do you think about that, Amber? Well, I want to read one other thing here before we go there. Amber has a blog. And she wrote out, what's the name of your blog?
BeyondSky'sTheLimit.me.
And I'm going to read something that she wrote about video games and her son Tristan, who's now 16, as we said. Tristan's a big video game enthusiast. We happen to all be fans of video games in general. Despite the bad rap they've received in the media, mostly due to violent content that we found has no way affected our kids negatively, there's actually many proven, well-known physical benefits of gaming. Better brain cognition, quicker responsiveness, hand-eye coordination, and better visual acuity. In addition, empathy, decision-making, and social skills are tested. But is it educational? You bet. One of Tristan's favorite games is Assassin's Creed. He's learned so much from the game, from European history, blacksmithing, sword fighting skills, geography, and so forth. And it's inspired other passions in life as well. I really, really love that. It sums up my thoughts. My kids have learned, and Devin especially has been the one that's been more attracted to video games than the others, but he has learned so much as a side effect of playing video games. Okay, we're getting a call. Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. We're going to get it, man. We're going to get this. Somebody called in and we lost the call because we have Amy Lee on hold. So we're learning with learning curve. So I know how to do this now. Okay, here's the call. What question do you have for us tonight?
Oh, I don't have a question. I was just calling in to listen.
You were calling for what?
I was calling in to listen into the conference.
Okay. All you have to do is go to ucy.tv and you can hear the live stream, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Nice to hear your voice. Have a good night. Okay. Looks like it's a learning curve for the listeners as well. I was just telling a good friend about, I was actually on an interview. I was interviewed by the Ed and Ethan show out of Canada. Those guys are awesome. You got to check out their show. But we were talking about mistakes and how embarrassing it is to make mistakes and how we're so conditioned in school that not to make mistakes and to see them as such a negative thing. And, when you mess up and you're doing something like a radio show and things start to go wrong, your body gets hot. You get nervous. Poor Amber is here for the first time, and it seems like everything is kind of tweaking out. But you know what? There's just so much energy buzzing through right now that no one's really thinking clearly. We're way too excited. We got to take it down a notch here. Oh my goodness. So yeah, Devin. Oh my gosh, he learned so much through as a side effect of playing video games, and I want to share about Minecraft specifically tonight. Well, Tristan brought the new Assassin's Creed game with him, didn't he?
I think he planned to, but he didn't bring it.
Oh, he forgot it?
Yeah, he forgot it.
I'm sure they'll find plenty to do. Tristan and Devin both love blacksmithing. They're down in the cellar right now. In fact, if you hear any banging, it's probably them. We have how many children are here at the moment? There's 6 kids, and I'm in my studio, which is also Devin's bedroom. It's the quietest room in the house, and I'm on the homemade table that Devin made himself after being inspired through video games to learn about antique or old-fashioned design. This is like a design from, I don't know what era it was, like the Kingdom Ages, he said, of some sort. He knows all the details. He's the one that's interested and learns these things. But if you guys could see where I'm sitting, Devin's room is so inspiring. His walls are wallpaper with maps. He has so many handmade tools in here, and part of unschooling is that learning is a total immersion experience. So Devin sure surrounds himself with things to learn from. All right, let me read to you a little bit about Minecraft, and then we'll get Amy Lee on. I know everybody's really waiting to hear from her. So Minecraft. For those of you that don't know what Minecraft is, it's a video game in which players create and break apart various kinds of blocks in three-dimensional worlds. The game's two main modes are survival and creative. Survival's the one that you can die on, I think. Not get killed, but die on. And oh my goodness, Orion usually plays creative, and he's been playing survival mode with the other kids. And today, it was so hard to see. He lost a horse that he named Saddle, and he lost the diamond sword that he worked so hard to get. And it was Orion's first time, I think, playing survival, aside from playing with Amy Lee one night. And he lost so much in survival. He cried, and I was consoling him. It's really intense for kids when they, and I'm sure a lot of parents can relate. I've had parents say to me, how do I get my son to stop screaming and crying and getting frustrated with a video game? And it's fascinating to me sometimes when people say things like that, because they're just focused on the behavior. They're just focused on the fact that the child's screaming and crying, and they never really ask themselves why. Well, that was Orion today. He was really upset about losing what he did on the survival mode of Minecraft. And so I sat and consoled him and told him I loved him and it was okay. And I was so, so sorry. I mean, empathizing. It's as if it was anything that a child lost or had a hard time with. So it's not about controlling behavior and controlling a child into not expressing themselves, living this life. It's about supporting it and loving them and meeting them where they're at. So in survival mode, players must find their own building supplies and food. They also interact with block-like mobs or moving creatures called creepers and zombies, and some of them are really dangerous in the game. In creative, players are given supplies, and they do not have to eat to survive. They can also break all kinds of blocks immediately. There's no points or levels, and the purpose of the game is simply to build and explore and survive. I love that about the game. And it looks really simple. I think the first time Devin was playing it, I'm like, really? Like, the first time, he played the beta version. Devin was playing so long before the game was even really out. He was testing the beta version with some friends, and they loved it. And I'm like, really? This seems so basic. This is like more basic than what I was playing back in the day when video games first came out. But the more you immerse yourself in it with your child and have them explain it to you, the more you see how amazing and magical the game is and how incredible. They learn so much from the game, but that's basically what Minecraft is. It costs money, and you can use it on your PC, your Mac, or there's an Xbox edition too. So, yeah, I'd love to introduce you to Amy Lee, and it's a phenomenon to me how these Minecraft YouTube superstars are kind of on the scene now. When Amy first connected with me, we were chatting live, and she told me who she was, and she said, I said Orion was really into Minecraft right now, and she asked if he knew who Stampy Longnose was. And I'm kind of like, who? And I remember saying it weird to her. I said, Orion, do you know who Stampy Longnose is? And Orion's eyes lit up, and he said, I'm listening to Stampy's video right now. Of course I know who he is. And I was like, oh, okay, wow. So I said yes, and then we went on, and Orion was so excited, and Amy set up a game for Orion to play with Stampy, and Eyeball the Stick Squid, which is Stampy's best friend, and Amy's one of their best friends as well. And so Orion and Ivy watch all of Amy's videos now. She's incredibly inspirational. I'd love to pull her on right now and introduce her to you guys. So I'd love you all to meet her. So hi, Amy. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for holding on there for the intro and for all the tech issues.
No worries. I'm used to that.
They weren't mistakes. They were learning experiences, right?
Yeah. It took me ages to, learn the skills I learned. I kept doing so many mistakes in the beginning.
Did you? Oh, that's so nice.
God, yeah.
Actually, that's nice to learn.
I still do it now. Have so many, audio issues or, visual issues. It is a learning curve.
How many videos do you think you've made?
I don't know, maybe about 200.
Wow.
Maybe,
Wow.
but I still have a lot of mistakes, and there's still things I really don't know how to do. I just know, like, the bare basics.
Well, your videos are so adorable. So impressed with them. And I was really blown away the first time I watched them because they were so feminine in nature. And I thought that was something that Minecraft was really missing. I love everything's pink and beautiful. And well, do you remember how we connected? I think you were the first one to reach out, weren't you?
Yeah. I saw you on Wife Swap. And there was something about you that I just felt like a connection with, and I just needed to contact you. So it kind of went from there, and it was really nice because I think we both felt it. And it's just like really special.
Yeah, I mean, the times that we've talked and connected, I feel like I've known you for years, and I think that you're just brought together with some people with a mutual desire in life. And when I really got to watch your videos, and I saw the focus that you have in your videos that you're making. So what are these? Are these like how-to videos? Are these stories? Like, what exactly do you do?
The majority of them are what we call a Let's Play, which is kind of like a series. We kind of think of it like an episode, like a TV cartoon episode kind of thing. Okay. So you could like watch them all in a row, and then, there'll be storylines and things like that will develop.
That's pretty awesome. Well, I love the underlying current that you have through all of your videos for peace and love. You said before that some of the kids, your fans, think of you as like a little hippie in there. Is that true?
Yeah, they're amazing. Like, literally every single day, I'll receive a new photo of a kid hugging a tree, and they'll say like, "This is for you, Amy," and they'll hug a tree, and just simple things like that. And it just makes me smile so much knowing that they are appreciating trees a lot more than they might have been before.
Oh.
And it's
how amazing is that?
It's mind blowing that someone would listen to anything I do or say.
Oh,
it's
you're
weird.
so humble. That's another thing I love about you is you're so humble. And we were talking about, before doing this show, Amy's never been interviewed before, and I've never interviewed anyone before. So we were laughing about that fact that we're literally going live on the air with thousands of listeners, and this is a first for both of us. So, guys, have an open, kind heart. Be easy on us. We're learning as we go, both of us. But, I mean, when you want to do something, that's one thing I love about you, Amy, is like when we connect and we're like, let's just do it. Let's just go for it. Let's just do this. We have to, it's not about us. When you're doing interviews and you have an underlying message in your work, which we both are doing different things, but we have a similar message. You do it for the cause or the message. And we're doing this for the kids, for children's rights, for freedom. And, your little fans, the influence that you have on kids blows my mind. So these kids are playing video games, watching your videos about a video game. I wonder how many parents are feeling like what they're watching is not good for them. Do you ever think that? Do you wonder that?
Well, to be honest, I've had such good feedback from parents. Like, I'll get emails, and sometimes I'll get a letter from a parent, like, thanking me for being child-friendly and for promoting a good message. So that, I think, is, fantastic that parents are taking notice.
Right, that's wonderful. That means that, to me, that means that they're connected and listening.
Yeah. And, I've, on Twitter, I follow quite a few parents of some of my fans, and I've got to know them. And I think that, that's really good when they take notice and they get involved.
And you don't have any kids yourself, correct?
No.
You're
none at all.
You're too young for kids, I'm sure, yet, but someday, I'm sure, and they're going to be blown away with what their mom does.
I can't wait to have kids. I love them. I adore them so much. I've got a lot of nieces and nephews, and I love them. Kids, they're amazing.
You could totally tell when you're talking to them. And I love how much of an incredible responsibility you take for what you do. Like, you take it really seriously. You know the influence that you have on kids. And in some of these kids' lives, I mean, I think a great majority of children in this day and age are living in an authoritarian paradigm, and some of them might be coming from abusive, challenging family lives and be forced in school or forced to do things that they don't want to do and be treated badly. And you're like a life raft for them.
That's crazy.
I really feel that way. truly. So how did you, I'd love to, there's several reasons why I had you on. For one, I think you're amazing, and I think we definitely have a connection, and we have a similar message. But for two, I love to promote not only unschooling, freedom, and bringing more and more levels of freedom into your life as days go on. And one way in which that impresses me, and like a lot of people are striving for, is to work for themselves. Now, your job, I mean, you carved out, you created this. I mean, that blows my mind. So you make a living off of your videos, right?
Yeah.
That's just awesome. So you didn't go to college to be like a YouTube star?
No, anyone can do it. If this is something you want to do, then you can do it. It's, you don't need any qualifications. You don't even need a lot of like knowledge about editing. I know nothing about editing. I know nothing, but I learned just the little basic things that, all I need to get by.
Right. So, I mean, being such a renowned, I did not realize how famous you were and how huge and adored you were until you told me what you did, and I researched you a little bit. And you're so humble, you'd never know it, but I see the bags of fan mail that you post that you get. Oh my gosh, like, does it feel, I mean, this happened to you really quick. You started when, this past summer, like doing this?
Yeah, technically I started just the beginning of August, I believe.
Wow, and so this has like been 6 months or so, and you've gone from, what were you doing before? Are you comfortable sharing what you were doing before?
Before I was in and out of jobs. I did work, funnily enough, I did work in a private school, which was an experience and a half. But that wasn't for me. So I was pretty much jobless for about 6 months. I was looking after my partner, who was very sick at the time. And then I decided I wanted to do this, and I loved it.
Wow. Who inspired you to do something like this? How did you first hear about it?
It was Stampy. It was my niece who got me into YouTube, really. She was the one who got me into Minecraft. She told me, Amy, you need to put it on your phone right now. So I did, and I played it, and I got addicted. And then, it went from there, and then, me and her would just play it all the time. We were just addicted together. And so I started researching online, and we found a guy called Sky Does Minecraft, who's a massive hit in America. He's amazing. And then we found Stampy Longnose, who's in England. And after watching a few videos, I decided to just send him a message on the Xbox. And it's really late at night. And he answered straight away and invited me to a party. And we got on like a house on fire. And this guy, he's my hero. He's the loveliest guy you'll ever meet. And he inspired me. And he still does. Every day he inspires me.
Wow. So he mentored you. He kind of took you under his wing and did he show you the ropes and encourage you?
Yeah. He made my very first video for me. I travelled down to meet him in real life, and there's a video on that on YouTube.
I saw that. It's so cute. Yeah.
It's so scary. I was so nervous. But I've never met anyone quite like Stampy. And everyone, thinks that we are going out, but we're not. We are just good friends. I love him. He is my best friend. I love him. But that's it. But he teaches me every day, every single day. I watch a video of his, and he inspires me.
I think it's cute. I love the video when you meet him for the first time, and you can kind of feel the nervous. Maybe it's just me being sensitive. You can feel the nervous energy of, oh my goodness. And how weird is it now for you, Amy Lee, that how many kids would feel like that to meet you?
I know, that blows my mind.
I know. It must be really amazing. I mean, there's children that yesterday I took Ivy to gymnastics, and it was her first class in a while. And the son of the owner was kind of running around playing, and I noticed he was playing Minecraft. And so I struck up a conversation with him and asked him if he knew who Stampy was and who you were. And he looked at me like I was stupid, and he's like, of course. Hello, of course I know who they are. And I was just blown away. I was like, oh wow, Amy Lee is a friend of mine, and I'm interviewing her, and he didn't believe me. He's like, Amy Lee, 33. Who you talked to her. She's like a friend, her. And I guess I didn't have any sense of your grandness, Amy Lee, until I put it out there to the kids, and then the kids show me, and I don't know if he believes me to this day. He's like, no, you don't. No. Anyway, So, yeah, I mean, I'm so blown away with what you've carved out for yourself. One thing that I love, I mean, there's so many things I love and enjoy about who you are. And one thing is that you just reached out to Stampy, and you just reached out to me. How many people are afraid to do that? I mean, and you're like, you're a self, admittingly shy person. I mean, and what motivated you to just reach out to these people that you looked up to or admired? I love that you did that.
I think something kind of like takes over, and I do believe that there are people that you are supposed to meet in your life, whether they're good or bad. And I felt it with Stampy, and I felt it with you, and I felt it with a few other people. But I also believe in fate as well, because Stampy gets thousands of messages every single day, and he saw mine at that exact time. And if he hadn't have seen that, he'd have never have seen my message at all. It'd have just been drowned with all the other messages.
Wow.
So I was pretty lucky, but, the only way you are going to reach out to people you admire is to reach out.
Right. Is it hard for you to keep up? I mean, are you able to keep up with all the fan mail that you get and all the comments? How have you managed that?
It gets quite difficult because I know that the fan base are quite young and they don't really understand when I can't reply, because it's not just comments on YouTube. There's also Facebook, there's also Twitter, there's also my Yahoo address, and then there's also real fan mail. So to reply to every single one, that's just, it's impossible, and there's no way I would hire somebody to answer it for me. That's something I don't agree with.
Right. So I love that you want to answer it in person and really connect with these kids. I want to give out the call-in number for any kids that might be listening that might want to call in and say hi to Amy Lee. This is an awesome opportunity to connect with your hero.
Sure.
The number is 1718, and this is a number in the U.S., guys. It's 1718-717-8296. 1718-717-8296. Just call in, even if you just have a question. If you're a parent that has a question, call in. We'd love to take your call. So, how do you carve out your time? How often do you need to do this work? How often do you make videos, and how many days a week?
I do it all day, every day, pretty much. I usually record between 2 or 3 videos a day, then edit, and then the majority of the rest of the day is either reaching out to people, answering messages, connecting with other YouTubers, and then just having fun with them as well. That's something that we forget, half the time we just forget. So, we just all get together and just have a friendly game and just have a bit of a laugh together. That's really important.
Because that's the basis of how you guys all came together, right?
Yeah, totally. But it's amazing how often it's forgotten about, just to not record and just to go on and have fun and just, just talk and just chill out together. You kind of have to force it after a while because you're so in tune with everything else on the internet. Your life is the internet now.
Right. And I mean, you guys are growing, all of you, this group of YouTube Minecraft stars over in the UK. It's growing for you really, really fast. Are you excited about that, or are you nervous? What kind of feelings?
I'm very excited, but I'm also very nervous because I am a very shy person. And, to do interviews on radio shows or in the newspaper, that is something that I'd be so out at. I'd just really freak. I kind of just hiding in my room.
But you're doing it. That's the whole thing. You saw how I was in the beginning of this interview. It's hard to get going. I mean, I'm a really shy person. I have a really hard time. I push myself to do these things because I have, I feel like the mission, the calling to help, and it feels really good to kind of follow through. And I think that's one thing that connects us is we both, we're conditioned to have fears and conditioned to be insecure and conditioned. There's so many layers of stuff that we're all dealing with through the authoritarian upbringing, through school, through damage, through different sources, and to undo all that and overcome all that, to speak your truth and to give your message to the world. It's hard, but it feels so good. And I'm so impressed with that's what you're doing, Amy Lee. It's really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So do you hang out with Stampy and everybody? Do you guys physically get together? Aren't you speaking somewhere? You're going somewhere together?
Yeah, at the end of this month, a bunch of us are all meeting up to go to a convention. This is my first convention, so I'm so nervous. It's I know about 5 of my most loyal fans are going to be there. The cute recruits, as I call them. and I can't wait to meet them, like, just to give them a massive hug and thank them for everything they've ever done. But at the same time, I'm so nervous to, like, step out of my bedroom, in a sense, you know, go into the real world as Amy Lee 33.
I know, and you won't be in block form. You'll be
Yeah.
in your curvy, rounded, beautiful woman form. And yeah, I mean, so what makes, like, your cute recruits, what makes these kids, like, some of your number one fans? Like, what qualities?
They've, like, the ones I'm talking about have been with me since literally day one, before I was anybody, before I kind of made any good videos or anything. I was a bit unknown and, you know, just starting off. And there's about 5 girls that have been with me from that time, and they're still with me today, and they're just fantastic kids. But the cute recruits, they go on to everybody. Anyone who wants to be a cute recruit automatically becomes one. And basically we spread the message of love and peace and make cookies, not war, and all that. Just great. I love that.
Is that your, like, make cookies, not war? Is that something that you...
I put lots of stuff like that on Twitter. I'll just come out with something random and then it'll just, like, go around the world. It's cute.
I love that. Well, it's so cute because, like, you're all about cookies and Stampy's all about cake. So Ryan told me about Stampy's love of cake yesterday.
Oh, yeah. He loves his cake. Cat.
Does he really? Like, in real life? Does he like eating cake all the time? When you went over and met him, did he have cake?
I think he did, you know. I think he did secretly. I think he's too ashamed to show me, but I think he did.
Can you imagine eating cakes he must get sent to him? Oh my gosh.
He hasn't actually got a P.O. Box address for fan mail yet.
Oh, okay.
But I can imagine what he would get.
You could open a bakery.
He could, like, Stampy's famous cakes. It'd be crazy. It'd be lovely.
Well, I mean, the internet is still new, historically. I mean, we're all babies and seeing how all of this grows and what it's going to mean. And for you to create a profession out of a passion is literally the basis of some of my work. I always tell my children that they never have to work for somebody else. They never have to be yes men. They never have to respond and obey orders from anybody. And they've never been conditioned to do so where they're not in school. And so there is this whole new, like, uprising generation of people that are making money off things they love doing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you didn't start out doing that at all. I'm sure you just did something you loved, and a wonderful side effect of you being really good at it is money came. And that's the same with anything.
Mm-hmm.
What does your family think about this profession? Is there anyone in your life that doesn't think it's like they don't take it seriously, or they think you should be doing something else?
Well, I live with my mum and my stepdad, and at the beginning they didn't understand the job at all. No matter how much I tried to explain it, they just could not understand what YouTube was. I mean, they're really old as well, so they probably just, they really didn't get it. As I got a lot more popular and stuff, and they kind of saw the changes, it was okay. But none of my other family know who I am. Like, it's all very secret. I keep it quite secret. Like, a lot of my real life friends don't know who I am.
Wow, I love that. I think that's so important. Just being able to be yourself around your friends is so important too. That's one thing I love about spending time with Amber, my friend who's here, is we're just two girls hanging out, and we just love talking about, we'll talk about anything, things I normally don't talk to people with, because the focus of my connection with people is advocacy. And so it's so nice to have people. I'm sure it's nice to talk to people about something other than Stampy or Amy Lee 33.
Sometimes it's very weird, because when I am away from being Amy, I miss her. I miss her a lot. She's taught me a lot about stuff. I love her.
So she's like a persona. She's like your best qualities that you love in yourself, kind of represented as a character.
Yeah.
Would you say that you are, fully Amy Lee 33? Like, what do you like about Amy that you don't really feel you've integrated into who you are? Or are you are you different, than Amy?
We're not different, but I think with being a YouTuber, it's allowed me to have a childhood again.
Right.
Because I can be as young as I want, I can be as crazy as I want, there's no rules, I can just, it doesn't matter if I want to play with dollies, it's funny, it's okay. I can post pictures of, all the little toys I get sent, and I love it. It's giving me some kind of innocence. and letting me be free. And you can't really get that with a lot of jobs out there.
That's awesome. So it's allowing you to, like, reparent yourself.
Yeah. It's been a great, great journey.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so, so much, Amy Lee. It was an honor to interview you, and it was an honor to have you as my first guest on my radio show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, and we'll be in touch soon, and I wish you nothing but success. So if somebody wants to connect with you and they want to find out more about you and watch your videos, what's your YouTube channel? They just type in Amy Lee 33, or?
Yeah, they'll find it.
Okay, great. So if I could ask you if you could share, like, one thing that your fans don't know about you. You share that. I want this to be like 33 exposed. Like, what is something that nobody, like, your fans don't know about you and you want to share? Whether it's a fear or
I've got quite a few random fears, actually. One of them being wobbly teeth. I can't stand it. It makes me feel really sick.
What is it?
It's wobbly teeth.
Wobbly teeth?
That's scares me
too.
Yeah.
I literally nearly faint. Like, I go really, hot, and I nearly throw up. It freaks me out. And when I tell the kids, like, my nieces, I'm like, just please don't do it. They just run up to me wobbling it in my face. I'm just like, seriously, don't. And I'm literally nearly fainting on the floor. It's bizarre. I can't even think about it. That's freaking me out.
So, like, loose teeth. I'm like that with, like, nails. Like, nail clippings, or if I see the cat's nails around, I'm the same way with nails. If the kids clip their nails, say, please go in the other room, or I'll go in the other room. I don't like to hear it. I don't like to see it. If I see a random one go flying, I'm like, no.
That's what I'm worried about, like, when I do have children, when they have wobbly teeth, I don't know how to deal with that. I'm really frightened.
You'll have to have whoever the father of the children is, deal with it.
Yeah, I'll send them to you. You can look after them.
Okay, I'll know. And then you can come clip everybody's fingernails for me and sweep the floor, and
I can do that. That's fine.
Sweep them off the floor. All right, it's a deal. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Amy Lee. I really loved having you on, and good luck to your future. And I can't wait to see what you're going to be up to next. So, thanks for tuning in and for coming and spending the time with us.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. It was so nice to have Amy Lee on the show. If you have any questions for Amy, please send them. You can email them to me and I can forward them to her, or you can send them to her directly. And if you have any more questions about just the benefits of video games, or if you have any fears surrounding video games, please send them to me and we'll answer them on the show. So now we have a fun game we're going to play. It's called Question Roulette. I have so many questions sent to me. I have a packet here of like 250 questions, and I can never get to all of the questions I have sent to me on the show. So Amber's going to just pick one randomly that she wants me to answer, and I will answer it.
Okay. Actually, this is not a question that was sent in, and I know this is probably something that you've already gone over a bit or discussed it, but I had somebody actually send me a message through Facebook and ask my personal opinion about this. I think it's been a really long, hard winter for a lot of us, and so it's been kind of difficult to get out and about and be outside a lot and do a lot of maybe the other activities we've done. So I had somebody, and I talked to her a little bit about it, what our experience has been, but I wanted to hear maybe your perspective, and I told her actually I would talk to you tonight about it. Concern over what you talked about, I think it applies to the topic tonight with the video games. Screen time. Kids who are inside and they're spending a lot of time either like watching YouTube videos or watching movies or playing games and things like that. I've heard a lot of parents talk about being concerned about that, about the amount of time that their kids are spending kind of attached to the screen.
I think what's so fascinating is we are really conditioned to envision life for a child in a certain way, because most of us were raised in school and we were raised being controlled and kind of just following the lead of what people were asking of us. We tended to, like in school, you go from one subject to the next. You're constantly being pulled away from something and being told to do something else. And so you're always moving activities, even if you don't want to, and most of the time children don't want to. I think it's really seasonal, like especially in the area of New England where we are. I mean, gosh, this year all over the country, but it's really normal for kids in the winter to kind of have that kind of hibernating energy. To spend a lot of time inside, a lot of time doing things, a lot of things involve video games, watching TV, watching movies. I know my kids have Ivy's done a lot of crafts. It just depends on the child, but I think it's important to trust the process. And if you're feeling kind of stuck yourself, you don't need to impose that on your kids. Go out and go snowshoeing, go skiing, go for a walk, go move yourself. And when you do, that's really the only true way to inspire somebody. So if you're trying to control your child and make them feel bad for like watching video games or watching TV, and you're trying to pull them away somehow, the kids are going to just resist control and want to feel their freedom and autonomy. So they're going to resist that control. And in turn, they're going to have a really unnatural relationship with whatever they're doing, whether it's a video game or TV or whatever. And they're going to watch more or do more of it than they would have naturally if you would have completely respected and trusted the process. I know fear causes control. So a lot of times I'll ask parents that if they're feeling fearful about something, really, look into what that is.
Kind of the perspective was, I asked her, well, is it something that the children are expressing a disapproval over or displeasure with, or is it maybe something that, or is it more kind of her thing? And it turned out it was really pretty much more her thing.
Really?
That it was bothering her that the kids were spending so much time, but the kids were completely happy with it.
Right. And I also know humans learn so differently than we were led to believe, that we were raised to believe. Kids learn in huge chunks of time when they're passionate about something. And for Devin, for Minecraft a few years ago, that basically looked like him playing probably, 10, 12 hours a day, maybe, off and on. And instead of getting upset, and I knew how much learning was going on in his mind. I knew how much growth. And if I didn't control it, he really could tune into his body. He would come down and say, my eyes are kind of hurting, or I'm feeling stiff. I'm going to go outside and run around. And he was able to tune into his bodily needs. But think about anything that you're interested or passionate about. A lot of my listeners, I know that for you, it's learning about unschooling or learning about peaceful parenting. I guarantee any spare time you have or time to yourself, which I know with kids, it's hard to kind of find that, but I guarantee you're following your passion. You're learning more about this life. You're listening to these radio shows. You're reading. You're doing everything you can to learn more, and kids are no different. But we're trained to believe that it's not right and that something's wrong. I like to ask parents, how would you feel if your children were reading a book for all those hours? How would you feel about it? You'd probably be pretty proud. You'd stand right behind them, their choice. You'd feel like the best mother ever, wouldn't you? My children are reading the Twilight series. They're on book 3 and they haven't left their room for 2 weeks. I mean, you'd be bragging about it, wouldn't you? They haven't left. They have done nothing but read. People, gosh, you got to wake up and realize that video games and television are not lower forms of learning, especially if your children are drawn to them, because every child learns differently. Some are visual, some learn through written word, and it's just unique to each child. So I like to tell parents just to relax about it and follow their child's lead and go find your own passion to do while they're pursuing theirs instead of trying to control them. All right, should we spin the roulette wheel again and hope we find another one?
Let's see here. Will you adopt me?
That's one. Who asked that? You can say the name of the person.
That was Kayla Thompson.
Will you adopt me? Well, I do have plenty of room. I get my hands full facilitating 4 kids' learning and growth, so I don't know. But, I've talked about adoption with Joe someday. I would love to adopt. So you never know.
Nutmeg Garcia wants to know, how do you feel about the college years? Do you unschool for college as well?
I love the college question. I've kind of grazed on it over the show, on the show here and there, but there's a whole movement called uncollege. And I'm not saying because we unschool, we're going to uncollege. It's not like some kind of buzzword. All uncollege means is the same thing that unschooling means. Unschooling doesn't mean not educating. It means not doing school, not having the institution part of your life at all, and that includes curriculum or any kind of schooly mentality, perspectives on things. So it's the same with college. We don't need college to learn. I think college is necessary for certain professions, like for sure. And if your children are wanting to pursue some of those, they will do what's necessary to jump through those hoops. They'll when they're internally motivated, they'll do what they have to do. But I don't think college is necessary to learn. There's so many other forms of learning without spending a fortune and going into debt and having student loans for the rest of your life because this business is sucking you dry. I mean, you can educate yourself so well. There's, just do a Google search for uncollege. You'll be so surprised with what you find. Okay. So I'm not concerned about the college years personally. I know that if the kids want to go, I'll completely facilitate that and support that. And if they don't, I will also support that.
This is a really good one. Kate Brewer-Heron asks, how would you handle wanting to unschool your child when the other parent is unwilling and you only have the child on weekends and holidays? That's a tough one.
That is tough. And, lately I've had a lot of coaching calls from single parents. My coaching business has really, really grown, and a lot of single parents are coming to me. So I would say that 99.9% of kids in our culture today are parented from the authoritarian paradigm, which I find is very disrespectful and damaging by both parents. So even if your kids have a partnership dynamic and have freedom, what is that, once a week? Is it only on weekends?
Weekends and holidays.
Yeah, I mean, that is better than none. I truly believe that kids are so capable of shifting from different perspectives. I mean, look at kids in school. Every teacher is different that they're dealing with. Every parent is different. You don't have to have quote unquote consistency and parent the exact same way. In fact, most of the time it's okay to parent completely differently. As long as your consistency is with love and your consistency is with understanding and connection. And just talking about it. If you have your child only once a week, if you're divorced, and just explaining without putting your ex down that you're just doing things a little bit differently. And I think it's important to talk to your partner about it, though. Try to get on the same page, not to parent the same, but just to open your heart to understanding what each other is doing, so you're not, talking bad about the other person to your child. Okay, does that answer part? Do you have anything to add about that?
No, I think that sounds good.
Okay.
It's all about keeping the peace. That's awesome. Christina Smith says, who has encouraged you the most in choosing the path you've chosen for your family?
Devin, really. Honestly, when I was pregnant with him, I never pictured that I would be doing this. This isn't something I sought out for. I mean, I definitely think I was a unique person. I had that rebel edge, and I was always like a metalhead in school and hung out with all the guys. I always was a girl that never had a lot of girlfriends. I always wanted to hang out with the guys because it just seemed easier. I found that girls were really like full of drama, and there was always backstabbing, and guys were just so easy to be with. And so growing up, I was always kind of a rebel and did my own thing, but I didn't get pregnant and say, ooh, I'm going to do this crazy new thing or this crazy different thing. I just followed Devin's lead. And when he was a baby and I had a natural birth, which really helped in connecting with him, I feel like natural birth or birth is the beginning of this life for sure. How your child comes into this world is so important. I always say peace on earth begins with birth. So Devin was born naturally, which I didn't think I could do. I was always such a wuss. I couldn't believe I had a natural birth, and I couldn't believe he was in my arms when he was. I pushed for so long, and I have a audio tape. He's the only one that I have an audio tape of his labor and birth, and I was saying over and over and over again, he's here, he's here. I couldn't believe it. My baby boy, over and over and over again. I'll never forget how warm his body felt against mine. It was just something like only a birthing mother can remember. I can remember the smell, everything about that moment. And he was my biggest teacher. I couldn't imagine listening to a quote unquote expert, a professional over him. I totally trusted him. I held him when he wanted to be held. I fed him whenever he wanted to eat. He slept next to me from day one. I put him in a crib because everybody was pressuring me to. One night, I think he was 2 weeks old, and the crib was on the other side of the bedroom, and I put him in it, and he could see me through the bars of the crib. And I remember making eye contact with him and him just crying and looking at me like, why am I over here? Why are you over there? And I'm over here. And he started crying, and I rushed right over. So I'm so sorry. I'll never do that to you again. And I never did. And I held him, and he is such an amazing human being. So all my kids are my teachers, but Devin was my most influential, being my first. Okay, we have a question in the chat room. What does it say?
Well, Ghost of Jimmy, he's a couple times now has talked about the TV, thinks that it's all just programming. How do you feel about that? Meaning that I think, let me see if earlier, I believe, I'm not sure exactly who it was, but they mentioned something about believing that video games are just the military's way of recruiting children for the army.
Oh, the fascinating thing is you're conditioned to believe that by the authoritarian paradigm that isn't taking responsibility for conditioning you to take orders. Children that are raised in a partnership dynamic, they are not influenced. They're not influenced in the same way as children who are raised to be yes men, who are raised with parents solely focusing on behavior and punishing them for them not being obedient. When children are parented this way, oh my gosh, they are so much stronger than any kind of influence in any game or TV. It's not even the same category. No studies have been done about these types of children who are raised in a partnership peaceful paradigm. So I agree to a certain degree, possibly, Ghost of Jimmy, with what you're saying in regards to children raised through school, through punishment, with parents focusing on obedience and punishing them punitively, but not at all with this type of children. There is no evidence at all pointing to anything you're saying being correct. When children have freedom, respect, I listened to heavy metal growing up. I listened to the worst possible lyrics you could ever imagine. Did I ever want to go kill a cat? Did I ever want to? No, it's not part of children. I'm sure you did too. Look at horror movies. Do you watch a horror movie or do you listen to something that you enjoy and then instantly you're completely controlled and you want to go kill? Because human beings are so much stronger than we give them credit for. How disempowering to think that after that you're going to be completely controlled after seeing a certain television show or video game. I appreciate your intent, for sure. I have certain things I agree with you on. I can guarantee in regards to the government, there's nobody controlling my kids. Trust me, they're way stronger than that. I feel bad. That's why I'm doing this, though. I love that you bring that up, because that is exactly why I'm parenting this way. Because my kids, I do not want them to be so influenced and used to just taking orders. Ever. I want them to be free thinkers, to have choice. And it's an amazing thing. If you were to meet my son and asked him that, he would basically just laugh and say, what are you talking about? We control the media. We are the ones in control of these games. We are the ones in control of these television programs. Unfortunately, it's the minority of children, but it's our reality. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for these questions. I see somebody out. Metal with an exclamation point. Yes, I love heavy metal. I always have. It's my favorite music. My kids, Devin likes it. Like, he likes System of a Down. Like, we love listening to that together. But, Slayer. Oh my God. I love Slayer. I actually met Tom Araya, and I'm friends with his wife, Sandra, on Facebook. But, Slayer, huge influence. I actually saw them when I was pregnant with Ivy. And, yeah, I think I was the only pregnant woman probably at the whole Slayer show. And, I felt so safe there. Like, people are so afraid of heavy metal shows, but when you're immersed in the culture and the community, you know how safe you are in the pit, even pregnant, as crazy as that sounds. But yeah, oh my gosh, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and for hanging out with our technical learning curve here, guys. So thank you so much. You can connect with me through DaynaMartin.com or Facebook. Have a great week, guys. Bye.